Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy is coming to the White House on Friday. That's according to President Trump. The visit comes as the U.S. finalizes a deal with Ukraine to access its rare minerals. CBS News foreign correspondent Ramy Inocencio joins me now from our London bureau to talk more about this. Ramy, this is sort of interesting. I mean, it's not as if the United States, throughout the course of its 250-year history, has not exploited other countries for their natural resources in exchange for perhaps protection or in exchange for arms or what have you. But Zelenskyy has been sort of pushing back on this minerals deal, but then something changed. What was that?
Hey, Vlad. Yeah, good to see you. Well, it seems like Ukraine maybe got a better deal. And I say seems because key details haven't been made public just yet. But let me throw out one number to start this all off. $500 billion. And that it was the demand from Trump that Ukraine give the U.S. $500 billion, $500 billion here, in profits from the sale of its minerals. Zelenskyy, though, we know that he said that that was too much, so we might infer at least that that number is lower. Now, Trump had claimed the U.S. gave $350 billion in aid to Ukraine in the past 3 years, but a U.S. government watchdog has calculated that at something about half of that, $183 billion. All this to say is that we started out with $500 billion to $350 billion to $183 billion. The price tag for Ukraine has come down. And we know, Vlad, right, this is Trump's MO, his modus operandi, to start high and then to negotiate. The details still have yet to drop, but we can infer that this deal has been made at least a little bit more palatable by Ukraine with the cost.
Look, this is, I mean, if you are a student of world history, as I say, you will have seen this playbook before. The problem is oftentimes when these countries exploit smaller, weaker countries for their natural resources and they bleed them dry, then those countries are at risk themselves of becoming failed states. This has happened. Ramy, you've been a foreign correspondent longer than I have. You've seen this in the stories that you've reported all around the world. So the question is, how is the U.S. preparing for the fact that this might have real-world problems and issues for Ukrainians, even if there's peace achieved between the Russians and the Ukrainians?
Sure. The phrase that I'll throw out listening to that is you deal with the devil you do and the devil that you don't, or the devil you don't want to. And in this case, the choice is being made by Volodymyr Zelenskyy and the Kyiv government, whether they want to go and give in and to, let's say, lose the war with Russia, or to deal with Trump and to say, we will make this deal, maybe not whatever you ask, but come to some kind of negotiated terms, which appears to be what's happened here, in order to get to this state where we are, to trade profits, for example, titanium, which Ukraine has one of Europe's biggest reserves in, used in aircraft, missiles, lithium, another mineral of which Ukraine has perhaps one of Europe's largest reserves as well, graphite, which is an industrial lubricant, rare earths. Earlier we had a graphic up on the screen, a map. I wonder if we could put that up there. And I talk about this. Look to the right side of your screen, and there's a swath of red where Russian-occupied Ukraine is, and you can see that that red swath is a massive deposit of rare earth materials, but half of that also is controlled by Russia. So this also is a problem, is a dilemma for Ukraine in terms of dealing with whatever minerals deal that they want to do with the United States, that some of it is controlled by Russia and the rest of it the U.S. potentially wants.
And Ramy, really quickly, is the NATO, at least the path to pursuing NATO citizenship, off the table, even if Ukraine agrees to this deal?
It appears that there has been no movement on that, let's say. Of course, President Volodymyr Zelenskyy still wants that to happen. Putin saying that he does not want that to happen at all. The United States, President Trump, not being clear, being vague on what that could be. But Ukraine, whether it's inside NATO or being outside of NATO, wants a security guarantee from the United States. And if not the U.S., then at least some kind of Western security guarantee. And to your question, Vlad, that alludes to potentially NATO, or let's say parts of NATO, if the bloc were to hold up over the next few months. It appears that that security guarantee has not been resolved. So looking ahead, we're waiting to see really that phrase or that lack thereof. But one belief is that tying the U.S. economy to Ukraine's economy through this minerals deal could in fact make that security guarantee, whether it's official or not, at least a de facto reality.
All right, Ramy Inocencio breaking it down for us in ways only he can. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it.